Hey everybody, today I'm going to be talking to you guys today about rear sway bars. So we make a rear sway bar kit for the early model Mustangs. It mounts to our rear panel rod kit. It's an addition to. And a lot of customers ask, hey, I just want to buy that. Should I get that or should I not get that? And a lot of times we give recommendations that surprise people. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little tech on how and when to use a sway bar in the back of your old school Mustang. So first we're going to talk a little bit about how it works. What a sway bar does, contrary to what most people say, it doesn't necessarily keep the back of your car flat. Most people who are looking for a certain feel out of the back of the car, now this is most, not all, are more or less looking for lateral stability. That's something that a panel bar is going to do. What a sway bar does, it actually gains balance between the front grip and the back grip of your car by taking away rear grip. And that happens like this. Imagine sway bar end links are mounted to your rear axle, and these parts right here are mounted to your chassis. When you go around, say, a left turn, the right rear corner of the chassis wants to squat down, and if you look at as the right rear squats down, the inside left rear end link where it mounts to the axle, watch this, it pulls up. Okay, so what happens is as the right rear squats down, it's pulling up on the inside rear axle, trying to lift the inside rear axle off the ground. A lot of times I'll equate that in my own little noodle, like someone's holding onto the axle, trying to resist the body from coming up, which, you know, visually looks like lean, but what it's really doing, depending upon how big the axle or the sway bar is, determines on how much it really pulls that inside tire off the ground. A lot of times if you see not enough front sway bar, too much rear sway bar, you'll actually see a guy go into a turn, lift up or squat the outside rear and physically lift the inside rear off the ground. What this will feel like to the driver is the car will initiate the turn, and right when you turn the wheel, it'll feel really good right when you turn the wheel, but then as the car takes a set into the turn, this thing starts laying over and picking up or lightening up that inside contact patch to where the grip starts becoming solely dependent upon outside tire only, which at that moment is already overwhelmed. So if I lost you a little bit there, if not, whatever, well, basically what we're doing is we are taking away grip as we get the car into the turn. So why would you use a rear sway bar if it takes away grip? A lot of times a balanced car in the racing world is faster than a non-balanced car. So if the front tires are sliding just a little too much as you're racing the car, you can put a little bit of rear sway bar in the car and you can get the car to rotate through the turn neutrally, not putting too much weight on the front. That's for a track application. That's a tuning application. And not always do you use rear sway bar. A lot of times in my videos you'll see in some of the videos I've done where one sway bar end link is not connected. A lot of times I'll hook and unhook the sway bar end link as I need it throughout the weekend. Now, the other thing that's a very big factor is what kind of differential do you have? If you're running something like a True Track or a clutch type posi unit, they really get unhappy with quite a bit of rear sway bar. It really puts a lot of strain on the diff. So you might have heard of people blowing up differentials. Well, a lot of times if you lighten up the axle, the inside tire, too much on a solid axle car, it'll put a huge strain on the differential itself, and it can cause premature wear or even failure. So a lot of times if you're running a locker, those things are in or out. A spool, something like that, they're very positive, they're very difficult to break. You can put a decent amount of sway bar to those without really worrying about ruining the differential itself. But a True Track, it's going to be fairly free in the way it functions. So you'll run very little, if any, sway bar on a True Track. You might run more sway bar on a locker And these are very track-oriented subjects here. Now, a street guy, again, he's not going to get to the point where he's wondering how much inside tire drive he's got with the differential that he's got. So we'll push a street customer into running the painted rod kit without necessarily doing a sway bar to start in the back. And if they find with their specific package, they want the back of the car to be to come around a little sooner, to have more balance with the front, at that point we'll tell you to get one of our sway bars. Now, and when you do get to the point of running a sway bar, we run a small bar. It's very light. It doesn't give you a lot of lift on that inside tire, but it gives just enough to free the car up. The other thing we do is the sway bar end link itself, or the sway bar arm, is radiused, if you've noticed here. So if it's mounted here, it swings freely. You can tune it really easy. You don't have to pull it out of a hole, put it in another hole. This makes it for when you're at a good guy's autocross or a track day or whatever, and you want to make an adjustment. It doesn't take you forever to adjust this thing. So that's a little tech about our rear sway bar, how they're used, how we use them, and I really hope that helps you guys out in learning a little bit about rear suspension. Thanks for checking out Mike Meyer Inc., and we'll see you at the track.